Hey, thank you so much for watching or listening, however you're getting this. Please make sure you subscribe, because seriously, we have lots of fun, lots of good interviews, lots of great content. And I'm excited to introduce you today, Andrew Wommack. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. It's awesome to be with you.
Totally fun. So I have some questions, right? Because all this is like super informal and kind of chilled, relaxed. So how long have you been doing all this ministry stuff?
68 is when I really had an encounter with the Lord. I was born again in 58, but 68 is when I really encountered the Lord, and it revolutionized my life. And it took me about, I'd say, 5 years before I got my feet under me and got enough of the Word to start ministering. But that encounter is what changed everything.
Getting pretty close to 50 years of it.
Yeah, well, over 50,
yeah.
53 years.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Huh. And how long you been married?
Been married 49 years this year.
Ooh. Mm-hmm. Very cool. And where were you born and raised?
Arlington, Texas.
Yeah, I hear the twang a little bit.
Yeah, and I've been here since, when did we move here? In 80.
Oh,
and
really?
Yet I haven't lost any of my Texas accent.
No, I know. That's pretty cool, though. 80 you moved here.
Did you know we came to Happy Church 53 years ago to hear Kenneth Hagin?
Seriously?
Yeah.
In 1968?
Well, no, yeah, it would have been, it's probably 69, maybe 52 years ago.
So that was at the 1101 South Washington building.
That's right.
And that was when it was Full Gospel Chapel.
Well, I guess.
Before it was Happy Church.
I always called it Happy Church.
Yeah. Huh, That's amazing.
Yeah.
Very cool. So what did your parents do? What did your dad do when you were growing up?
Well, my dad, he was a vice president of an insurance agency. He died when I was 12 years old. So and he was sick. He actually died when I was 2 years old and was raised from the dead. As they were wheeling him down to the morgue, our church was praying, and he kicked the sheet off, and the orderly wet his pants. It scared him so bad.
Yeah.
But he came back to life, but he was kind of sickly, so didn't have a lot of interaction with my dad, and then he died when I was 12. But my mother, she was a great lady, and man, we just had a great time, and I was real close to her. She lived till she was 96.
Seriously?
She would have been 108 years old this year. She was born in 1913.
Wow.
My dad was born in 1907. I was born late in life for them.
Huh. That's pretty amazing. What's your mom like?
She was awesome. She was a godly lady and loved the Lord, and she saw it was really a blessing. Mm-hmm. She worked for us after she retired from about, I think, 67 until 88. She worked for us and opened the mail. I figured if you couldn't trust your mom to open the mail and make the deposit, you can't trust anybody.
Exactly. Is she a good cook?
She was.
What did you like that she cooked?
I don't know. Like I told you before the thing started, I just eat to eat. I'm not a connoisseur of food. I like hamburgers.
Yeah. Like fried okra?
I do.
Yeah? You ever do pickled okra?
I did, yeah.
Any other vegetables that are kind of high on your list?
My mom wasn't a big vegetable person. She lived to be 96, and she didn't like vegetables and loved junk food, and she was healthy as a horse.
That's funny. Like Cheetos and...
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice. And so, do you have kids? No kids?
We got 2 kids, 2 boys, and they're both old. They're in their 40s.
Old. Hey, now. Let's not be... Do you have any grandkids?
We got 1 granddaughter. She's 19, and she's a blessing.
Nice.
Really, really good.
Why'd you move from Texas to Denver?
My wife and I both loved Colorado. The first time we ever came to Colorado, we both said we'd live here, and that was before we got married. And so when we got married, every time that we pastored a church or something, if it was closer to Colorado, it was God. And we finally moved to Pritchett, Colorado. Have you ever been to Pritchett, Colorado?
No.
It's down in the southeast corner. It only had 144 people in the town at the time, but we went there and held a meeting and saw a man raised from the dead.
Jeez,
and when that happened, they only had 10 people in the church. And they said, you can't come in here and do this and then just leave. And I said, no way am I ever going to live in Pritchett, Colorado. Right. But as we were leaving town, the Lord spoke to me to come back. So we moved to Pritchett with 10 people in the church. And we were only there about 6 or 7 months before they ran me out. But the church grew to 140. and 144 in the town. They were coming from everywhere. But the people that had the church didn't like it because I wasn't singing out of the hymnals.
Oh.
We were singing choruses, and they wanted just the Pritchett people. They didn't want any outsiders, and
Yeah.
so anyway, we left after about 6 or 7 months. That's when I started my radio ministry there.
Was that in the 70s?
That would have been, the late 70s, because it was 1980 when we moved to Manitou Springs, Colorado.
Okay.
So it would have been 78 is when we were in Pritchett.
Yeah. So you did radio first?
Yeah, I started on radio, and I was on radio until just 2 years ago. And so I did radio for 40-something years.
Mm-hmm.
And then we started television in January of 2000.
Really?
January the 3rd of 2000.
Huh. That's interesting. So you've been on television for 20 years, plus
21
minus.
years,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then radio, man, that's really late 70s, so that's about 40 years.
Yeah, and radio is what I built the ministry on. And when I started on television, of course, you know all of this stuff, but it was so expensive
Oh, yeah.
that I really was skeptical about it. But I just knew that the Lord told me to do it, and so I did it. And back in 99, before I started, January the 3rd of 2000, if you remember the Y2K
Yeah.
deal, my first program was, if you're seeing this program, Y2K was a hoax.
Uh-huh.
And,
Yeah.
But anyway, the Lord spoke to me in July of 99, right before we went on television, and said, when you start television, you're just going to start your ministry. And I had been in ministry since 68, so that was 32 years. It was all preparation for me. And sure enough, when we started on television, I mean, everything just exploded. It doubled. In 2 years, our ministry probably quadrupled. And then in 2002, the Lord spoke to me that I was limiting Him by my small thinking, out of Psalm 78:41, where it says they turned back and limited the Holy One of Israel. And God showed me that I'm limiting Him by thinking small. And so, boy, that was a huge transformation. And since that time, we've increased close to 100 times the size we were in 2002.
Goodness sakes.
It's just phenomenal.
Yeah. And now, I mean, with Bible school and all the mission stuff and business school, I mean, tell it like you have a pretty big, broad footprint now. What are all the things you guys got going now?
Well, I got my television program is probably the thing that reaches the farthest, but then we have it was 70 schools around the world. We've cut back some because we went to what we call a hybrid program where people used to have to, like in Atlanta, we had 4 schools in Atlanta. Now we have a special program where they can do most of it on correspondence and then come 2 weekends a month and meet together. So when we did that, we now just have 1 school in Atlanta.
Right.
So it was 70 schools. Now it's down to about 60 or something like that. But they're worldwide, all over the world. And so we have about anywhere from 8,000 to 9,000 people that are in our extension schools at any one time. And this last year, because of COVID, we were down to 700 students. But the year before that, we were 800 and something. We're shooting for 1,000 this year at our main campus, where you come and minister.
Yeah. Love,
awesome.
love going there. Oh,
Yeah,
my goodness,
it's a
so
great
much
place.
fun. Yeah. Yeah. So what are you thinking in terms of the future? What do you want to do for the future?
Well, just continue to expand. Like we're still expanding. We've added a lot of new television this last year, and we've got some more things. And then we added, during the COVID thing, we did 130 more live streams than we normally do.
Yep.
And so this last week already, I've done the UK, Russia, Germany, and I've got South Africa coming up tomorrow or Friday, whenever that is. And so we're doing a lot of the live stream type stuff while we can't travel as much right now.
Yeah, I got you. I'm going to ask about your sons. You said they're in their 40s. Do they also live in Colorado?
Both of them live in Colorado Springs.
What are they doing?
One of them's a tattoo artist.
Nice. That's fantastic. I'm sure that made you super excited.
Yeah, well, not really, but anyway. And then our other son, he's the one that has the daughter, and he has his own business, but he does some stuff for us. Like he handles putting up all of our LED screen and a lot of he's got an engraving machine, and he does a lot of stuff for our bookstores and our partners and stuff like that.
Got his own business. That makes sense. Because I think I'm always like, I like to hear like the overarching story, but then I always like to hear about the kids.
Because
Wonder
you
why.
were one.
Exactly. Exactly.
Being a preacher's kid's not easy.
No, but I mean, your dad dying when you're 12, that's not easy either.
No.
I mean, that's tricky. How many siblings do you have?
Well, I've got one left. I had an older sister. She was 9 years older, and then my brother was 4.5 years older, and my sister's already gone to be with the Lord a couple of years ago. And my brother, he lives in Austin, Texas.
Nice. Nice. Keep in touch with him a little bit?
Yeah, we just saw him back in January.
Nice.
They're doing good.
Nice. What do you like to do, like hobby-wise? How do you relax?
Well, I have a shop, and I build wood stuff and, vases, and I just made a box and put some engraving and epoxy stuff in it for one of my board members for his 60th wedding anniversary.
So carpentry, woodwork stuff? Is some of that in the lodge down?
Yeah, a lot of it.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, if you see those little boxes with all of the stuff in it and it says you are blessed, I make all of those and stuff.
That's
and
pretty
all
cool.
of the candle holders that are in the lodge down there and stuff like that.
I've noticed that, and I'm like, that's really creative. Very cool. Did you make the big table there too?
No, I didn't make the table.
Nice. I like that table.
Yeah,
That's
it
a cool
is.
table.
Very nice.
The chairs go with it. It's really nice. So do you do like outside stuff?
Well, yeah, we've got 26 acres, and I do fire mitigation. Like last week, I used a chainsaw until I just totally gave out. My wife, she got me some chaps because I've cut my leg 3 times with that chainsaw. Still got a scab right here that I'm working on.
Yeah, and fire mitigation, like so chopping down dead wood and all that.
And then I got a skid loader, and I use it to maintain my road. And I got a 2.5 mile trail I built on my property where it's nearly all vertical, so you can't just walk from the bottom up to the top. So I built a 2.5 mile trail.
Wow.
And I did it originally with just a pick and a shovel, and now I've got this skid loader. I've widened it and stuff and made it pretty nice.
Huh. You do horses and all that too?
I used to, but when we traveled, nobody was there to take care of my horses, and we live about 17 miles away from our ministry, and nobody's out there. So my daddy-in-law, when he was alive, used to take care of my horses, and every time I was gone out of country, they knew it, and they'd get out. And so he just said he was through, so I got rid of my horses.
Yeah,
They couldn't maintain them.
Yeah.
But I've had horses most of my life.
Do you have a particular version of a horse that you like? Or
Well,
breed?
most of mine were Arabians.
Oh, wow.
They're really nice horses.
Boy, howdy.
They were smaller, but they had a lot of stamina, and I could go on rides. I'd ride them 30 and 40 miles a day, and they're still ready to run.
Oof. That's cool. Very cool. Aren't they kind of very spirited?
They are. They're very high-strung. But I like that.
Yeah. Why do you like that?
Because you can run them and jump and do stuff. Those trail horses where they just stick their nose in the rear of the horse in front of them and walk along, that's boring.
Yeah.
My horses were exciting.
Yeah, you want to have some entertainment with it. Yeah, that makes sense. Do you like to read?
Well, I read the Bible nearly exclusively, and I was just talking to somebody about this the other day, and I just will start, like I've got a book I was reading today, but I can read about an hour, and I'm thinking, man, I could have been studying the Word during this time. So I've got 4 books on my desk right now that I'm working on all at one time. I'll read a few chapters at a time. So.
I got you. And when you do Bible stuff, what's kind of, if you get like, ooh, it's like a go-to, a magnet. You're like, oh, I just keep coming back to, this is my favorite. What's that? What would that be for you?
I'd say that probably my favorite portion of the Scripture is 1st and 2nd Kings, 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Chronicles. I love the history. Do you like that?
Oh, yeah.
I just love studying the history of these people. Over in 1 Corinthians 10, it says all these things were written for our admonition so that we can learn. And if you learn through them, well, you learn at their expense. But most people don't pay attention to what the Word says, and so they have to go out and figure it all out through hard knocks.
Yeah, I'm totally on your page right now. I think this morning I did 1 Samuel 11. Maybe 12. And this is where Samuel is telling all the Israelites, look, you guys wanted this king. That's a bad decision, but God's going to help you anyways. And don't turn to futile things. Oh, my goodness.
And that has direct parallel to where we are today. we're asking for things that aren't good for us, and God will let us
Yeah.
do it, but that doesn't mean it's His will.
And it's like eating cotton candy. It's froth.
Yeah.
No substance. Man, that's fun. Do you ever do so when you do, because all that's history books. Do you ever parallel them with like the prophets? So you read the prophets concurrent with what the king is?
Yeah, I do.
Ooh.
And I've got a Reese's Study Bible. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
And it puts everything in chronological order, and it really helps you do that.
So my dad had one of those Reese's Study Bibles, and it was the hardcover one,
really
and he
thick.
tore it up, right? I mean, it was like all over That's fun.
I knew your dad. I talked to him a few times.
Did you?
Yeah.
What did you think about him?
I liked him. I didn't know him well. I only saw him from a distance. But
Yeah. He's a little eccentric.
Was he? I didn't know him that way.
Yeah. Good guy. Really good guy. But, he liked antique furniture, turquoise. So he did woodwork, not carpentry specifically, but he would refurbish antique furniture. Chairs, caning chairs.
Yeah.
That old stuff. Yeah. So, that was kind of his little niche. I grew up, this is funny. So he used to buy antiques at like garage sales, and people had painted them and really made them ugly. So he would strip them, right? So he'd put them in paint stripper and soak them. We had these big vats, and if he couldn't get it all in the vat, so he'd take them to the strippers on Broadway, right? And that's kind of like, if you say the strippers, some people think, oh, that's bad. Strippers on Broadway. And he's like, no, furniture strippers. Not the other kind. So he was a little eccentric.
My mother had this French provincial furniture that she bought before I was even born. And then she painted it all white. And it was this beautiful woodwork.
Yeah.
So I did the same thing. I stripped every bit of it. And it took me a year or two to do all that. And that stuff will get you high if you... But anyway, I stripped all that and refinished it. And it was beautiful.
Put some oil on it.
Yeah.
Yep. That's really cool. Nice,
awesome.
Nice. So you want another goldfish?
No, thanks. I'm fine.
I call this like preschool sushi, right? Thought you might like that.
I don't eat those very often. My wife told me I'd had them before, but I didn't remember.
Yeah, I when we had it right before, I was like, let's see if Andrew likes those. That's fun. So, hey, thank you for watching, listening, whatever. Thank you for subscribing. And here's my question for you. Kind of in line with our little wonderful goldfish here. What's your favorite snack food? Right? That's an easy one. Everybody can answer that one. That's easy. And again, hit the notification bell to keep you posted on when we put new content up. Thanks for subscribing. And we get this really, really great joke. Kind of. So a man was admitted to the hospital after he swallowed 6 plastic horses. And in the hospital, his condition was described as stable. Even the camera operators are groaning. Thank you so much for watching. Next week will be way better.